Hey yo guys, welcome to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're looking at the brand new album from August Burns Red, Phantom Anthem. So yo, I'm an August Burns Red fan, but I'm an old school August Burns Red fan. I've listened to all their albums. I own most of them. I don't know if I own all of them, but nothing compares to Messengers and Constellations. Those two albums are up here. Everything else they've done has been kind of like down here somewhere. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to feel about this. Spoiler alert, I have heard most of the songs on this album already, but I've never really paid too much attention while listening to it, so I'm still considering this a first impressions because I've kind of had it on, in the background with a lot of noise going around me and shit like that. Haven't really heard it properly yet, except for the single that they dropped.
We reacted to the music video for that single called Invisible Enemy, so go check that out.
We did do that, yep. So yeah, I kind of know what I'm expecting, but I'm still eager to get in there and give it a solid, proper listen. So.
See, after listening to Invisible Enemy, went and checked out the rest of their discography, because I did listen to some of their older stuff before, and I thought they were alright. I'm like, oh, they're kind of just like generic core to me. Mm-hmm. But after listening to Invisible Enemy, I listened to their most recent albums, and it blew my mind. I'm like, holy shit, these guys upped their game really, really big. So I'm extremely excited to listen to what else is on this album, because even Invisible Enemy itself, after watching the music video and getting a good laugh out of what the content of that video was, all the puppets, I went and I listened to the song in depth, and I'm like, okay, let's focus on the song, and the song was ridiculously good. I'm like, oh my god, like, this is what's on the album? Jesus.
Yeah.
So I'm really hyped to go check this out.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to listen to the album in its entirety, and we'll be back to give you guys our first impressions of Phantom Anthem in just a little bit. Hey guys, we're back. We just listened to Phantom Anthem from August Burns Red. I'm going to hand the floor over to TV Fish. Let us know what you thought, first impressions of the album. Go.
Well, this album was cool. And I say cool because it didn't really blow me away, but I didn't think it was bad. One thing to mention that I loved, though, was the musicianship on this album. These guys were incredible.
Yeah.
Jesus, the technical proficiency of these musicians was really out there. Like, wow, I was very impressed with some of the stuff these guys were pulling off. Mm-hmm. And I, heard a little bit of this on some of their more recent albums, and which is what made me so excited to check this one out. I'm like, holy shit, like, these guys, they really know their stuff. The drummer,
Matt Grainer,
he blew me away with his performances on these tracks.
He stole this album,
Nuts.
In my opinion.
God, that's it's just all the different rhythms he was doing between his limbs. The independence was crazy.
Rhythms, rolls, fills, just everything.
He had it,
beats, everything.
He had it.
It's just A game for sure. A game all around though, but he definitely stood out just a little more than the rest of the band, in my opinion.
So I'm gonna talk about what was my least lowest personally rated song on this. Least rated, yes, okay, which was the fourth track, Lifeline.
Okay.
So there are a few songs I can say what I'm about to say about, but I feel this was the first one that kind of got me thinking about it, is that some of these songs, unfortunately, sound very similar.
Yeah.
And I say that it started with Lifeline. Mm-hmm. I found, starting with that song, it became really obvious to me that, the songs would start out with a groove, have a blast beat in there, then about halfway through or 3/4 through get quiet, have a really cool solo over that quiet part, and then ramp up back, and then end. And that would be the format for multiple songs on this album, and it was Lifeline where it started to become apparent to me, like, this is sounding just like the other three tracks.
Yep.
Which, before them, all three of those tracks were pretty cool. King of Sorrow, Hero of the Half-Truth, and Frost. Mm-hmm. Those were all pretty cool. So Lifeline kind of felt like those again. Mm-hmm. And what else was in there that got me thinking about, like, Generations? I kind of, like, felt similar about. There were multiple songs on here that I felt were hard to talk about, just because I'd listen to them and be like, well, what do I say about this? It
What do I say
cool.
about this that I didn't say about the last song?
Exactly. And I found that was really relevant on this album.
What about, was there any song on this album that stood out to you and actually did kind of stand out amongst the 11 tracks in a good way?
Invisible Enemy.
Invisible Enemy, the
That
single, the first
song
single.
blew me away when I heard it. Like when I, not in the music video, because the music video we were paying attention to the puppets. We were laughing at puppets. But when I listened to the song on my own, that song blew me away. And when it came on in our first impression session, it blew me away again.
I feel like it's definitely one of the more aggressive songs on the album. They're all pretty aggressive, but a lot of the songs these days on like this album, as well as the last two-ish August Burns Red albums, have this much lighter tone to them. This song has a more of a darker tone through the whole song. It's definitely more aggressive than the first 4 songs. But I feel the same way you do, man. I feel like a lot of these songs sound the same. Like, I can sit there, I can go, oh, you know that one song that like starts off with a bit of a lighter tone and it goes to a darker tone? No, you couldn't tell me that song, because they all do that. But I say, oh, you know that song where it like calms down in the middle and they got this like nice, calm, serene guitar solo? You know that one? No, you can't tell me that one, because they all fucking do that. You know, it's like, you know, what about that song? That song with all those crazy time signatures, like the ones that, you know, do this keep changing. It's, oh, you can't tell me which song that is, because they all do that. I mean, it is what it is. The band sounds consistent, which is a good thing, but there's a lack of diversity, and that's gonna sound stupid to say, and it's hard to even convey the message I'm trying to convey, because there's a lot going on. It's not like they're doing the same thing in every song. The song, like the riffs are all different. The drums are just crazy. There's different rolls and patterns and all kinds of stuff, like we mentioned. There's some change-ups in the vocals. There's one song with a bit of clean vocals, one section with some cleans on it. There's some group vocals in one of the songs. So they do change it up a bit, but every song still sounds the same. And I'm writing my notes, and I got to a point where I almost stopped writing notes, because I felt like I was just writing the same thing over and over again for different songs.
I started to write. It's hard to comment on this, because what do I say that hasn't been said?
And at the beginning of the video, I said that I'm, you know, more of a fan of the older ABR stuff as opposed to the last, you know, couple albums. And I think this is following that trend. I think they're definitely going a more progressive, you know, route, which is good. But I'm personally not a huge fan of prog metal, and you know that. I know you like prog a lot more than I do.
I'm really into prog, so I welcome this, you know, kind of style change with open arms.
And I'm not against it. I think it sounds great, but it's just when you're doing it every song like that, like I want them to just calm down a little bit, you know, change it up to the point where at least the song sounds different. I'm not saying time signature change or riff change or something like that, or guitar tone change. There's just, they need to do something to make each song stand out a little more and not just blend in.
A lot of the songs have the same form, pretty much.
Same form,
it's like the same song over again. That being said, what they do though within the song still sounds really cool.
Musicianship wise, like you mentioned, these guys are at their A game. Like, these guys sound phenomenal. There's some of the best drumming I've heard, some of the best guitar work. The vocals are on point. I mean, these guys sound really, really good.
Like
as musicians,
all the calm parts in these songs that did get repetitive because it kept happening, but every single time I still enjoyed it. I'm like, man, this sounds so cool. I love the atmosphere they build. It's just, you know,
I think this song's definitely gonna be one of those, or this album story is gonna be definitely one of those ones that is gonna be under some, like during the stress test, like the fatigue test when we listen to it a lot. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to listen to this album nonstop all week long without getting bored of it, unless I start finding individuality within the songs. That's what I'm going to be looking for, is individuality within each track. If I can find that, then this album will become much more complete to me. But right now, as it stands, they could have made a 3-song EP and released it, and it would have been just as good. I mean, there's 11 songs, and it's a nice full album. It's good length, but it all sounds too similar to me. But that's off one listen, so you know, with more listens, you never know. It could grow. You might find more things. It might become more diverse and whatever else.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, once again, guys, it's going to take the test of time. We're both going to listen to this album for 1 week, and we're going to be back in 1 week to give our final review on Phantom Anthem by August Burns Red.
Yep.
Anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. Remember to like, comment, favorite, subscribe. Tell us what you think of August Burns Red. Do you like their older stuff? the more, kind of straight core sounding stuff, or do you like the more progressive route that these guys have taken? I'd really like to know.
Let us know.
Anyway, I'm TV Fish.
And I'm Vile Self.
We'll see you guys later.
Later.